Let's turn this around, shall we? You know, I say Dogecoin is dumb or lame. So are my blinds. But hey, what do I know? I don't know anything. Daniel Dami, you are first. What's up? Moment of silence. Text a friend. There it is. All right. The blinds. I know, Ratman. I know. I'll get some new ones eventually. When the cats die. We have my Cafe Altura. See, I can't afford new blinds because I buy premium coffee. Premium coffee. Did you guys see what I posted, what I got for Father's Day? I got premium coffee, Freedom Tic Tacs, and a gift certificate to my favorite music store. You believe that? Can you guys see my truck in the reflection? No. I'm vehicle rich but line poor. That's what I am. I'm actually in a fairly decent mood despite what I'm going to face this week, but it's the calm before the storm. You guys, it's raining. I don't know if you guys can hear that. Probably can. So a lot of the loud motorcycles that go down the main road here are not going to be prevalent during this live feed, so I figured I would go live. Talk about a few things. I just watched the great Freight Sage Logic Eric talk about autonomous trucks. And you know what I like about that is that, for a while, I think Truckers Coach was doing all these. Remember a couple of years ago when everybody was doing YouTube videos about autonomous trucks? But no one was backing up anything. Eric's finding facts to back up what he's talking about autonomous trucks. And during his live feed, I sent him a link to, surely you guys are going through Indianapolis here and there. Surely you guys see all the construction along I-70. Well, they're building infrastructure to help autonomous vehicles in the middle of downtown Indianapolis, and they got money from the government. So you guys keep enjoying these high rates, because that is going to lead to the excuses that they're going to use of why people will be happy to have autonomous trucks riding next to them, because autonomous trucks won't veer in your lane because it's texting. Autonomous trucks won't leave a pee bottle on the side of the road. Autonomous truck ain't gonna, go into a shipping clerk and tell them that they're stupid, that kind of thing. So, anyways, I don't want to talk about that. That's Eric's deal. But I like the fact that Eric backs up what he's talking about with information, not just this is dumb, and then going from there. So. Dogecoin. Let's talk about that. I lost $8. Wait, let me do the math. Math is hard. And I'll do some shout outs here in a second. Let's see here. 24 minus 17. Yeah, $7. I lost $7 in Dogecoin. So I just sold it. About $24. Hold on. Okay. All right. Just got a text I got to deal with. Let me regroup here. Anyways, I invested $24 in the Dogecoin. At one point, it got up to like, I don't know, $26, and then now it's down to 23 cents. And there's an article about how it's projected to go to 5 cents because everybody's abandoning it, myself included. Now you can sit there and say, well, the strategy is to think of the long term. Well, long term says it's big crap. It was a flash in the pan, which is why I only invested $25 in it. It was an experiment. How many people went on YouTube and on Facebook talking about how awesome and how everybody needs to invest in it? Look, I know a guy that made $8,000 off Dogecoin, but those days are gone. You know, so I mourn my $7 loss. Moment of silence for my $7 loss. So I just got tired of watching that number go down. I got better. Now I'm even, Charles Brandt. Yes, thank you very much. So with that math, I'm up. Thank you. Well, no, if you count the 30% Google takes. Charles, you are awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome. That's great. I got my light trucking coffee mug with my Altura Cafe Altura, which is the shiznit. That's the best coffee in the world. It's even better than that stuff that those cats crap out and people like pay high money for. It's even better than that. Even though I've never had that, I'm going to assume that it's better than that. But, so yeah, don't invest in Dogecoin, it's dumb. If you invest in Dogecoin, here's what you do. Just take whatever amount you're going to invest in Dogecoin and just give me the money. Just give it to me. Similar to what Charles Brandt just did. And then I'll throw a rock at you. I'll find you personally. I'll throw a rock at you. Like, not hard. I'm not trying to hurt you. I'm just like a little bump, like from a pebble. And you'll get about the same reward, except I financially get better from that. And you get the same result. Actually, you get more. You know, because, you know, what other stock option is going to throw a rock at you? That's what I'm going to. So make sure you give me your money so I can throw a rock at you. That's way better than investing in Dogecoin. So, all right, so let's do some shout outs. We got Daniel Adami, GNC Family Trucking, Robert Daniel, The Scribe, Ratman Road, and Thomas Wilson. Good morning. Trucker Seals, Logistically Disturbed. You guys in the word logistics and logics in your name. AJ Jones, Bob G, The Scribe. Coffee is important. Look, if you're going to invest in stock, invest in coffee. I'm going to take my $7 loss, add the $9 that, or the $10 that Charles just gave me, and I'm going to invest that into a coffee thing. Nailed it. What's up? Let's see. Cash is King. Thumbs up. Charles Brandt. Nailed it. Sunshine here in Cabo. I saw your picture, Ratman. Absolutely stunning where you're at. Hey, are you going to go to that Sammy Hagar bar? Is that still a thing down there in Cabo? Charles, I hope all is well. Prayers out to you for your surgery. Why are we doing the rainbow thing? Flash crash, stock up. at a cheap price. HODL. Okay, Red Monkey. Let's see. Steve, that's why I'm heavily invested in the technology. Find the technology that autonomous trucks are using and invest in those companies. Find there's a certain, you have to almost, I'm not going to give stock advice. I'm not. You lost $1.90 in Dogecoin. Your loss was significantly lower than mine, Daniel. You should count your blessings. I told you so. Look, I had a really good conversation with a friend of mine. We talked about the whole cryptocurrency thing, and I watched that, and I watched another video from a channel called From What I've Learned, which I reference them a lot. I don't know if you've noticed that. And they talked about cryptocurrency, and it was, finally I get it. Finally it's in my head what it is. But Dogecoin is kind of the bastard child that everybody loved for a minute, but then now they're over it. So it will go back up. These articles are just mainstream, try and diss all cryptocurrencies. Red Monkey, I've been hearing that though for a while. It's gonna come back, it's gonna come back, it's gonna come back. And I know that these articles are corporate manipulation. I'll give you a good example of corporate manipulation here in a second. When it comes to health, I'm waiting on those. Cryptocurrency will get regulated by the governments in the world. Yep. We've discussed this, brother. Investing is a false hope with 95% of options. That's pretty crappy odds. Invest in yourself. Absolutely. Absolutely. Cabo Wabo. Hey, Snorelord, go buy some real Colombian coffee beans straight from the country of Colombia. You could do that. And then I'd roast them and then have my own roast. Wouldn't that be awesome? Have like Metalhead theme kind of thing. Big problem with Doge is people aren't getting as much free money from the government nowadays to invest in it. Eric's in the house, finally. So let's talk about corporate manipulation, right? Dr. Ken Berry did a video I watched this morning about the study that was done where they said that this study shows that intermittent fasting is not as effective as calorie restriction. And the science backs up that calorie restriction doesn't work. But this study was done on 12 people that were already skinny, and the sponsors were Pepsi, Coke, Nestle, Unilever, and all those. The companies that stand, because they can sell you sugar-free products that doesn't up your caloric intake. But if you're not eating as often, they can't sell you anything. So, do you guys remember the old cigarette ads? You guys, I'm too old to know about cigarette commercials, but I'm too young. But if you look at some old cigarette like magazine ads and all that, what do? They said that smoking helps nausea. It helps, like, they encourage pregnant women to smoke. Talk about the health benefits of smoking. You guys ever seen those ads? It's the same thing. Later on, we find out that not only did cigarette companies know that their product was bad, but they manipulated the market to think that it wasn't bad. Yet, the food companies are doing the same thing. So, again, my way of eating has become a form of rebellion against these companies. Smash the like button. And Eric, I think that company that made your shirt that was in your premiere this morning, they have a shirt that's great. It says death metal. I can't find that shirt. I would love to find that shirt. It says death metal, and it shows a picture of a tool. It's not lunchtime, Eric. What are you talking about? Yep, those coffee beans from Colombia taste totally different than the fake ones we get at the grocery stores. It's way too early for lunch, Sage. It should be a brunch instead. I'll show you what coffee I got. That's the coffee I got. And it's rain washed, because rain is awesome. Sun dried, fire roasted. It's bright, clean, and mellow, medium roast. And it's fair trade. In other words, there's not some corporate bastard saying, "Give me your stuff." So, it is the best. Should we bail out of Doge? I'm not going to give that advice. I'm just letting you know that I bailed out of Dogecoin. Don't talk about Peps 5 like that. Shame on you. That's my bread and butter. Thomas, I have no problems hauling the Carbolicious. I'll put it in my truck. Let the corporate media do their thing, so I have more freight to move. However, I used to haul batteries. I'm not buying batteries all the time. Do you think 48-hour fasts are beneficial for weight, fat loss on carnivore, or is it mostly for cleansing? Probably both, Jeff. I'm not a fasting expert, but the autophagy, there's autophagy is something that is reconstruction of the cells, so it does both. I know that my weight loss started to get faster whenever I went into intermediate fasting. Now, I've never done a 48-hour fast. The highest I've done is 26 hours. So carnivore can kind of mimic that, even though there's some calories coming in. But for the most part, it probably does both. And the autophagy kicks in. So I would look that up. I would look at some of the YouTube channels of the guys that are experts at that, and because I know that there's a certain length that the fasting really, like, there's no need to do a 9-day fast because you're going to get the best effects around 36 hours or something like that, something of that nature. But Mike Miller, what's up? Where's LVC when we need him for the fasting subject? Right. Little Line Coach has kind of been MIA here lately. I hope he's okay. Do you need to have a CDL to buy a semi truck? No, but if you go to a bank for a loan, if you're going to be the driver of the truck, they're going to want you to show CDL experience, right? They're going, you know, I had to show my CDL experience to get the rate that I did on my first truck. If you're going over and just paying cash, they don't care who's driving it. But if you want a bank loan, you either got to show that you're going to drive it, and you got to, you know, you should probably prove how long you've had your CDL, or you're going to have to call it, I think you're going to have to label it something like, okay, I'm buying this truck as a business, you know, kind of like you would buy a building for a restaurant or whatever, and explain what you're doing with it. You know, basically, you got to show your business plan. So it just depends on how you're going to finance it. I know people that don't have CDLs that buy trucks a lot, but most banks will want to see that you have a CDL. Because here's the thing: if you're going to put a driver in it, you know, you have to have a plan in place to get it home if that driver abandons it, which is a real problem. What if you buy a used truck from a person? You know, as long as you can get it home legally, you're good to go. I started to get into buying and selling real estate. So far, I'm really enjoying Monopoly. Eric says, OTJB, I can see you, but I feel your presence. Why are you feeling up James Best? That's weird. Let's see. Yeah, I'm glad your ex didn't take your board games away. I have a Wizard of Oz Monopoly game that I just recently acquired. I'll sell it to you for like $50. Screaming Demon. You can't see him. Oh. Well, you said you can see him. You're all over the place, Eric. You're all over the place. It's money that I can lose before I do it. Right. That's the best way to invest. Whether you're buying a used truck or Dogecoin or whatever. Make sure that you can survive without that money just in case it goes poof. Truck with Diabetes. Everybody check out Trucking with Diabetes. That's Cash is King's other channel. Yeah, check that out. So, but I just can't, like, here's what I'm going to do, because, you know, this is what we do online now. We beg for stuff, right? So, I'm going to put up my Amazon wish list, and I'm going to put that coffee in there. Coffee and a reasonable cryptocurrency that might make money instead of losing. And if you notice, the corporate narrative is like talking about how Bitcoin is going to bite the dust and all these countries that are going against it and the government's about to regulate it and all that stuff. You know, you realize that's all corporate manipulation until they can get their hands on it. Just like the legality of marijuana. They aren't going to completely 100% legalize marijuana across the board until the pharmaceutical companies and the government has their hands in place in the right position, and then they'll, you know, just like what they did with tobacco and alcohol and, you know, and all that. You know, think about prohibition. You know, like, look at cigarette taxes. Once the government has their hands in it, they don't care about your health. Once they got their hands in it, it's good to go. So, it's that vegan diet, Eric. That's why you have fat thumbs on your texting. Thomas Wilson, $50. Thank you very much. I'm going to throw a rock at you. That's going to be awesome. That's why you talk a lot. Thank you, Thomas. You are very generous. It will help. Thank you. It will help, because I'm going to need food money for the trek I'm about to take. I'm going to be that guy with a Penske truck going down the road being in your way. I'm going to be that guy. So been debating selling my General Mills stock. They sell so much grain and sugar-based garbage. It's a conflict of interest, I think. I hear you, man. I really do. You would almost want to try to find small companies like that Cafe Altura and you know, companies like that. So, Thomas, did you do another one? What are you doing? Stop it. Thank you, Thomas. I appreciate that. You're very generous. Thomas is a good guy. Thomas is a good guy. He's got a sharp truck, a cool wife. He's a good person. Cash is king is good watch. He does his numbers in owner op. People that do owner operating, you really need the true numbers, and the more YouTubers that can give you true numbers, the better. Now, I don't give true numbers because I don't give any numbers, but because my numbers won't work for you. We can talk about gross all day long, but it's the net that's important, right? I could sit there and say, well, I rake in $30,000 a month with my own authority. You can be that guy, but what are you netting? Well, you can't really explain what you're netting because what your net's going to be different is going to be somebody else's net. You know, all my vehicles, all of them, the semi, my pickup, my CRV, and the car, my wife's car, it's all paid off. The house has got 6 years to go and it's a modest payment. So my needs are going to be way different than somebody who's got $200,000 house, brand new F-150, and a truck payment that's $3,000 a month. They're going to have to gross a lot more. So my numbers don't work for you, which is why I don't explain numbers too often. Now I'll tell you how much I'm making on certain loads, but even then that could be deceiving. I can sit there and say, well, this load pays me $4.50 a mile. Yeah, it's a 78-mile load for, you know, X amount of dollars. So that's where the rate per day thing comes in. You know, and then you have that argument, rate per day versus rate per mile. Well, it's both. You got to track both. You know, you can have a killer rate per mile, but it might take, you know, like if you're making $2,500 for 200 miles, that's a killer rate per mile. But what if the pickup and delivery date is 2 weeks apart? Then that's not great, right? And so the argument is invalid. It's a good rate per mile, but it's not a good rate per day. And then you might have a load that pays $1,000, but you got to do 600 miles to get there, but it's pickup and delivery the same 24-hour period. Well, then, you know, you just made $1,000 in a day. So, you know, so that there's it's one of those things, right versus left, blue versus red, rate per mile versus rate per day. And the answer's in the middle somewhere. You have to know all aspects. You have to know your rate per mile. You have to know your cost per mile. You have to know your cost per day. You have to know your cost per week, per month. It's all relative. Let's say I buy my own truck and trailer and I have a CDL, but I never actually had a trucking job. How do I get my first load? What do I have to do? The undertaker, you're going to have to sign that truck on to somebody. If you get your own authority, your insurance is going to be through the roof. I would probably look to the Great Freight Sage Logic and look at his interview with Team Tiny. Because if you have no CDL experience, even though you have a CDL and you try to get your own authority, your insurance is going to be in the area of $60,000 for the year. And so that's going to play a factor. Finding a company that will bring your truck on, is going to be a challenge in and of itself, because they want CDL experience. Most owner-op companies are not going to take a guy with no CDL experience. So you have to cut your teeth in a company truck. You know, I tell a lot of people that you get your CDL, you go to Snyder, and then within a certain amount of time, you can get into the owner-op deal. Then once you master that, then you can go buy your own truck. But there's several companies that will put a new guy out of CDL school into a lease truck, but you have no control over those costs. You know, your dispatch, and it's their truck that you're paying for. So I don't recommend that. Can it be done? Absolutely. But I don't recommend it. Not for, you know. So, Steve, get the Venmo app. I'll have to look into that. I'm already on Cash App and Zelle. Is Venmo similar to that? Man, it's good coffee. I love this coffee. Thomas, it'll be Ithaca area. Yes, Bill, I will be. I thought about calling my brother-in-law and having him drive the car, but that'd be dumb, because I can just put it on a trailer. And the trailer's only an extra $49. U-Haul wanted like $250 for that same trailer. Or no, $350 for that trailer. Well, $350, I could just have someone drive it up there with me. But, so yeah. So I'll be that guy doing 60 miles an hour, hoping for the best. And, and I'll get to New York eventually. Robert, I don't have a. I'm going completely like. No, as we get closer to the day, I might reserve a car. But yeah, I might need a ride back. I've told people that I'll hitch a ride with serial killers before I take a ride with Greyhound. Chubby digit syndrome. Thank you, Thomas. I appreciate that. You beg for it and then you tell them to stop. It was more of a joke. It was more like, you know, give me money and I'll throw a rock at you. And I didn't realize someone would actually take me up on that offer. Let's see. When my brother and I bought trucks, we looked for a couple, low maintained, low mile fleet trucks, and we bought them at a large fleet auction, which meant lower prices and no payments. Demon, that's the way to go. That's one of the good ways to go. I'm not saying that's the way to go, but it's a good way to go. Honestly, it all boils down to the money you have going out the door and the money you have coming in and what loads work best for you. There you go. Pale Rider TV's in the house. Anthony Bressler. Cash App is $Snorelord. Remember, it's not a race. Right, so you're going near the most communist city of upstate New York. Have fun. Yeah, we'll have to leave a couple of things at home. If you get my drift. So, but, I used to live up there when I was a kid, when I was a little bubba. I was, I don't know, it was probably between the ages of 7 and 9, I was up there. And it'll be interesting to see some old stomping grounds, you know, see if I can remember anything, see how much Alzheimer's has kicked into me. It'll be good to visit family up there. I've got family up there still. And my entire family tree comes from the Northeast. I don't know, like Norwalk, Connecticut is the huge, like where all my roots are at. I think that's what we settled in that area. from England, from the English, and I think I had a relative that worked on the Statue of Liberty when they brought it over. So, you know, a lot of family history up there. So it'd be nice to kind of visit and not worry about where I'm putting the big truck, because where my sister lives is 5-ton limit road. So there's just no way I'm putting that truck down there. And if I'm going to rent a Penske on both ends, I might also just do it all the way. So could I get a little back with my truck? Absolutely. But I could throw a pallet in the back of a Penske truck and do that. No, I won't do that. That's illegal. You wouldn't do a thing like that. But hey, if you got any belongings that you want me to take back to Missouri, let me know. I'll hook you up. I'm in New York right now. Hurry up and get here. I'll give you a ride back. And it's going to be a while. Work for someone else for a while before you jump into the pool of buying a truck. I wouldn't consider leasing on or trying an owner-operator first. Learn the ins and outs, or you're headed for failure. Have you ever taken any friends on your truck to have company, since the truck is yours and you're an owner-operator and nobody can tell you what to do? Undertaker, what has to happen is insurance rules the world. So insurance tells you what to do. So you have to have an insurance rider for anybody you have in the truck, whether it be a friend, family member. So like, it depends on the company that you're signed on to. Jeff has a policy that I just got to sign a thing waiving all their rights on suing, and that's my rider. You know, whereas Schneider, you had to pay a certain amount of insurance for people, and then some companies don't allow riders at all. Like there's a food grade transport company that, because of the places they go into, they don't even allow riders at all. They don't even put passenger seats in their trucks. So it depends on the company you're signed on to. You know, if I want to have a person in the truck, all I got to do is have them sign a rider. So that's what I did for my wife, and that's what I did for Big Rig CO when he needed a ride to Illinois. He got my truck, he signed the thing, it was on file. That way, if I get pulled in DOTs, an authorized passenger, you have to have authorized passenger. So, and what a lot of people realize, it's a misdemeanor to pick up a hitchhiker in a commercial vehicle. That is true. And the reason for that is they don't want, you know, you don't want to be hijacked. You don't want somebody to hijack your vehicle. So if, let's say that I'm Walmart and you're bringing me my bottled water that I ordered, the last thing I want you to do is put a hitchhiker in that truck that's going to take that truck or take that water. You know what I mean? So there's a lot of liability. So it's not cut and dry. But yes, if you own the truck, depends on the company you're leased on to. Landstar, you had to have special permission if you were under 18. Transland, I had my son ride with me all the time, but we had to wait till he was 9 years old, or 10, I think. And then, you know, Schneider, they didn't care as long as you paid for the insurance. So that's how that works. Oh, okay, Robert. Yep. I pay $30 a month on rider policy. Yeah, because your wife rides with you. So, and they also put age restrictions as well with passengers in the trucks too. Yeah, and look, there is some risk. There was a guy at Landstar that his daughter was in the sleeper. I don't know if she was in the upper bunk, which, you know, you're not really supposed to be up there while the truck's in motion. And he flipped the truck and she died. You know, and she was under the age limit that Landstar put forth, and so that became a huge mess, and it's a very sad situation. So there's some risks, you know. There are some shippers and receivers that do not allow you to have kids on the truck. or passengers for that matter. So so it's not as cut and dry, but it is a misdemeanor to pick up a hitchhiker in a commercial vehicle. Nailed it. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Thank you. You're awesome. Um, I've been buying the heck out of Tic Tacs, right? Um, my wife gave me a 100 round box, and for Father's Day yesterday, and I mean, it's back down to a reasonable price. And it's from the big chains that have a reasonable price on it. These small independent stores are still trying to get $40 out of a box of 50 right now. Some are going still as high as 60 to 80. My company only requires a $60 one-time fee for each passenger and $500 for pets that are under like 150 pounds. Yeah, most companies will have what they call a pet deposit on company trucks because animals damage trucks. There's no way around it. Those blinds, that's animals. That's cats doing that. So think about what they're doing inside your truck. It's a liability issue if there's a serious accident. The company is worried the passenger will sue them and the driver, but the driver is meaningless as it is the company that's the policy holder. I pay $11 a month for rider and only while my passenger is on the truck. Yeah, Steiner's got a. You're not at Steiner anymore, but that's kind of how Steiner was. Steiner, he paid for the insurance right then and there, and only for the length of time. So I think it was real cheap. I took my wife and kid with me when I was at Salmon's Werner with my own truck. Never told anyone. Made a game out of spotting the other company trucks with the kid. Yeah, there was a few times where when I was riding with my dad, that my dad was like, "Go in the back," So, or you need to duck. so, so yeah, I've played that game too in the past. But Jeff's pretty lenient. As long as we got the authorization form, we're good to go. So, one of the benefits, and I don't know if we're still looking for a contractor or not. I don't know if we still have one slot open. Jeff's been kind of on vacation MIA here lately, so who knows. I can see when applications hit the email, but I can't see the applications themselves. Dogecoin is for the future, maybe. John, if I'm going to invest in a cryptocurrency, it's going to be something that has some clout. Dogecoin, I believe, was a flash in the pan. I just got a notification from my trading app that one of my stocks is like getting some gains right now. So from what I lost, I'm going to gain. So that's the name of the game. Jeff left me in charge? No, he didn't leave me in charge. He's still doing his thing, but he's got one person that does carrier packets and handling that end of things, and then I'm still doing the safety manager thing. So, which is pretty easy on a Sunday because there was nobody driving yesterday. But I appreciate the super chats and the cash apps, guys. I really do. I never had a problem with Jeff. Well, good. I think it's easy to criticize in this YouTube universe of how people are handling their business. We've all done it. But if you take the basic numbers of what Jeff's doing and realize that that other people's opinion on how he's doing things really doesn't matter. It's all about the numbers. And if you look at the numbers, I don't think he cares what anybody thinks, to be honest with you. If I had those numbers, I wouldn't care. There are different coverages on rider policies. Whenever you get one, you must look at it and decide what coverage it has. That's true. I'm at the Knoxville International Shop. Now I start sweating. Undertaker, if you're still in here, I'm gonna point something out to you. John Armstrong, he knows this. Anybody who's bought a truck should know this. If you don't have money in the bank or credit or both, buying a truck is a bigger risk. Because if you have a breakdown that you can't fix, now what do? Hey Tolga, what's up? The higher the cash and credit you have, the better, the more chances of surviving you will have. Because not only do you have to worry about the truck repairs themselves, but you have to worry about downtime. The big hit I'm going to take financially with this family stuff is the downtime. Well, I say big hit. It's going to be a hit, but not a big hit. Because I'm pretty much taking 2 months off. And then I added a $2,300 repair, and I still got to do probably another $1,000 or $1,100 on tires before I can haul my next load. So if you want to buy a truck without a CDL, then you're going to have to pay somebody to pick it up, grab it for you, drive it, you know. So, I mean, trucking is one of the easiest businesses to get into, but also the most expensive. That look, if I go to a bank and say I want to open up a nightclub and I need $200,000 or $150,000, they're gonna be like, what's your business plan? What's your experience? I don't think, you know, I would have to jump through a lot of hoops to make that happen. But I can go to Prime, or I can go to Schneider with so-so credit, no business plan, and be handed the keys to a $180,000 truck. I can do that. And that's why you see a huge turnover rate when it comes to being an owner-operator in the trucking business. And then add all the changes that are coming, add all the changes that have happened, add all the government regulations and the insurance company rates going up. You know, those of you guys that have your own authority, all but one person that I know said their insurance went up the second year with nothing on their record, with absolutely no tickets, no warnings, no out of service, no bad inspections, because the insurance companies own this industry. They own the medical industry, they own the trucking industry. And people want to take advantage, these corporations want to take advantage of the people who know the least. You know, people ask me, Steve, why haven't you got your authority yet? You're almost there. You have everything else. And I told people that insurance is one of my biggest worries. Because what if I do have a bad inspection? What if I do have an accident? What if the insurance company decides that they just want to raise the rate for the hell of it? And then all of a sudden that $12,000 or $14,000 bill becomes a $20,000 bill. Now we're weighing our options, right? So it's there's a huge potential for a cost increase that, for the most part, you have some control, but not all control. You just realize the first 5 companies you work for are no longer in business. Yeah, there's a lot of that. There's a lot. Look, there's a lot of authorities that are going to go by the wayside when the rates normalize. Because mark my words, guys, this is it. If the rates never normalize, everything else will catch up to it. Same process of minimum wage. If minimum wage gets federally mandated to be $15 an hour, guess what? Everything's got to catch up to it. And that's the corporate world we live in. I love capitalism, but I don't like corporatism, and that's exactly where we're heading. Our industry is no better. Am I planning on having pizza for lunch? No. Overtaxed Minnesota, Dave. What's up? Dave, I sold my Dogecoin. All $24 worth. I was over it. I sold it at 17 something. I don't have a whole lot of money invested. Too soon? No. I got tired of watching it drop. I have no patience. If people think trucking is expensive now, just wait. You're going to raise the carbon tax and want to kill off the pipeline, and fuel prices will climb. It's going to thin things out. No, Dave, I'm not letting it ride. If it gets down to 10 cents, I might invest in it again. I didn't have much invested in it. I lost $7, Dave. $7. And then Charles Brandt sent me 10, so we're good. And then Thomas Wilson paid me $100 so I could throw rocks at him. So rates been artificially depressed for over 30 years. It's all artificial. Corporate manipulation is real. I don't know if you guys realize that. The food companies put studies out there to make you buy their food and think that you're doing it for your health. Companies put articles out there so you invest in one thing but not in another. Am I tired today? No. No, I'm just in a mellow mood, that's all. I got a lot going on here after. We're going to hit an hour and then we're going to end this live feed. I got a call, speaking of, I got a call a lawyer today, so, but I hear you, David. It's taxes. They're going to need that money back. All that trillions of dollars that they were writing empty checks for, they're going to want all that money back. You know, think about used cars, right? I was out shopping for used cars. And I went to this one lot that was filled, like literally 2 weeks ago. It was like, couldn't fit another car in that lot. I was like, what happened to all your cars? He's like, everybody got the stimulus money and they bought used cars with it. Oh, okay. And so what do you think all the used car lots in Springfield did? Up the price. A friend of mine just bought a Peterbilt, $579, same miles, same age as mine. When I bought mine, I paid $60. My truck was priced at $59.9. Had 380,000 miles on it, and it was 4 years old. Or 3 years old. Close to 3 years old. Anyways. Over 3 years old. Anyways. That same exact truck with the same exact specs, same exact mileage, same everything is now $80,000. And those of you who've been shopping for drive-in trailers, you know what that is. So that's happening worldwide with everything. Everything. Wood, metal, rubber hoses, everything. And there's a war on agriculture too. I don't know if you guys realize that. If you aren't growing corn, soy, or tobacco, you're fighting right now. You're fighting against foreign entities that want to supply us for our meat. You know, the same corporate policies that made jobs go overseas, they're trying to do that with agriculture now. And to think that, you know, even processing, you can have a cow here, send it to China, have them process it, and then they bring it back. And that's cheaper than just processing it here. There's a problem with that. I agree with you, Neil, that insurance and lawyers control all small businesses. That's true. You get one of those bags, Undertaker, that have both. That's what you do if you want to partake in such things. All right, guys, we've got 2 more minutes. Ask away, and then we're done. So you're saying some easy listening thrash metals on tap for today? It's more like a full-on blast beat death metal kind of day, or some crowbar. You know, that's kind of my jam right now. Also, I don't think rates have that big of an impact on goods. Do the math. If you have 1,300 pieces and the rate goes from 1,500 to 4,000, how much effect unit price is that? I don't think it's going to be in the goods as much as everything else. Tolls that go up. Labor on the trucks are going to go up. Equipment's going to go up. To create a shortage creates a demand. Create a demand, that's where prices go up. Is there a true wood shortage? Is there a true trailer shortage? Or is the demand so high that they call it a shortage so they can up the price? And I do know that beef is going up, especially at Walmart. So, that's the part, you know, because I remember in 2017, tail end of 2017, after the hurricanes, people were making bags of money. All the YouTubers, all the guys that travel local were bragging about $35,000 months working the spot market. And everybody was making money. And I got in the game I want to say 2018, but as 2019 approached, the rates started to go down. But at that time, after the 2017, 2018 spike, everything went up. Tolls went up. Labor went up. Part prices went up. Everything went up because they knew that we were raking it in out here. But then when rates came back down, what happened? The only thing that kept a lot of people afloat when we were in the middle of the bid was the cheap fuel that we had at that time. Well, they're doing everything they can to take care of that too. Look how much higher fuel is now. So that ups your costs per mile. Thomas Wilson, thank you. I appreciate your generosity. You're really great. But those things keep going up anyway while rates stagnate. That's true, but I'm just saying that everything goes up, and it's on both sides. And the design is to make it harder and harder to run a trucking business. And these high shipping rates are going to put a lot of small businesses out as well. So, if anyone watched car YouTube channels, these guys are getting fined $20,000 to $30,000 for deleting exhaust or anything to do with emissions. Yep, and people go on Facebook and YouTube talking about deleted trucks and all that. It just kind of blows my mind. Did you read the article that I-285 in Atlanta will be a toll road 2023 construction starts? No, I watched the headlines, Thomas, but I didn't read it in depth. Aren't there parts of 285 that are toll? Anyways, like the Georgia Pass or whatever, Peach Pass or whatever it's called. No more off-road vehicles, right? A lot of the emission stuff is in the name of taxes. So, anyways, I think that's it, guys. I don't have anything else to talk about, and I gotta deal with some stuff. So, you guys take it easy. I appreciate every single one of you. Yeah, stay strong. Peace.